and welcome back to Modeling and Climatology. Today we are going to be reviewing the 15-day forecast. Jack?
Yeah, thanks, Porsche. So we're over here on the SBC website, Storm Prediction Center. So there's a slight risk for areas in Missouri and Central Florida. Let's take a deeper look. That slight risk is going to include areas like Springfield, Missouri, and then even down toward Orlando, Tampa, and that area. The area for Missouri is mainly for hail. As you see, you have the 15% there. And then wind and tornado are mainly for the Florida Panhandle, or not Panhandle. I screwed that up. The Florida, Central Florida. That's what we'll say. Tomorrow, there's a slight risk in multiple areas. You have the Southern Plains and the Northeast. Honestly, I think this is a very interesting outlook. This is a trough forming here, and this is the trough leaving. This one is mainly for hail and wind, and this one is for wind and tornado, I believe. As you see, the hail is over there in the Southern Plains, like for Oklahoma and the Panhandle of Texas. The wind drops off significantly for the Southern Plains and shifts over to the Northeast for areas like New York and Philadelphia. And then the tornado risk is only for portions of the Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle. But I also wouldn't be shocked to see if the Northeast got a 2% tornado risk. Always be weather aware, you never know. On day 3, there's a slight risk for all the way from central Mississippi through east central Texas. That area includes areas like Jackson, Mississippi, Shreveport, Louisiana, Dallas, Texas, and almost into Oklahoma City. If I had to guess, it'd probably be for hail for the Texas and Oklahoma part, wind for the Mississippi part, and maybe a 2% or 5% tornado risk to go alongside that. On Thursday, there's no area. However, that trough is supposed to continue toward the mid-Atlantic states. They consider mid-Atlantic, I do believe, from Maryland down through North Carolina. Mid-Atlantic, they're counting, well, in this case, they're counting it North Carolina, only that state from the Mid-Atlantic. And if they were to draw 15% for day 4, it'd probably be more or less along that line, with the 30% if they ever wanted to include one down for Georgia and South Carolina. And then on day 5, there's going to be another trough, but they don't think it's supposed to be as severe as the rest of the time, and the rest of the ones, Easter Sunday, last Sunday type event. And then after that, I think we might actually see a drying for Dixie Alley, which is Mississippi, Alabama area, which is good news for them. So let's look at the NAM for the southeast for days 4. That should be coming into range now. So here's that front coming through, that trough that they're talking about. And as it scoots off the coast, it kind of gets linear. It starts off more, I guess, discrete multicellular structures, then it slowly transforms into a line. That's your threat for damaging winds. And then it should shoot off the coast by about hour 90. So let's take a look at pivotal weather. I'm going to use the GFS and Euro for this. We're going to look at the where our jet stream is. So here's one of them. Here's the other one. The one that just affected portions of Mississippi and Alabama. Ish. I mean, it didn't really do too much damage, which is a very good thing. So here's that day 4 that they're talking about. As you see, it kind of explodes over North Carolina into Virginia as it scoots off the coast, and also the area for Georgia and South Carolina. We're obviously looking at this yellow colors down here. That shows areas of higher wind in the upper atmosphere. Oh, come on, let me click there. Thank you. Alright, for the Euro, it's more or less of the same. Let me get a model that's actually completed it. Okay, so as you see, that scoots off the coast. And this one's a bit more delayed, but more or less of the same. Starts to explode over the Carolinas and Georgia. And then, as you continue on, you really don't see much in the way of what could be severe weather. I mean, it really does dry out after that, which is a very good thing. And then if I pop back over to the GFS, which goes out further, they're showing mostly for Tennessee and Virginia and areas, maybe even the central Pennsylvania event, which is quite rare, but never really swoops down far enough. The next one we might have to look out for is hour 316 to 384. But that's so far away you don't really know if it's going to validate or not. So really, Mississippi and Alabama is going to have a nice little long dry spell. Porsche?
Yeah, it seems like it. Hopefully it won't be that bad, but you never know. Especially what's been going on for the past week or so.
Yeah, hopefully this trend stays and they don't have to deal with more severe weather. And the rain gets to places like Washington State or Oregon where they're entering a drought.
Well, here's a topic I want to review. Do you want to talk about yesterday's weather as well?
Yeah, sure. So yesterday, busted for tornadoes. The wind more or less validated. It's not very hard for the wind to validate, but yeah. The wind was actually really strong. There were multiple warnings of 90 plus mile an hour wind speeds issued by the National Weather Service. Porsche?
Yeah, yesterday wasn't as exciting as I wanted it to be, but as I said, that's always good because you don't want another tornado going through so fast field because what happened there was just devastating.
Yeah, but you really don't want tornadoes anyway, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially going through major cities.
There was a few yesterday. There was one in Galveston area, the other one that nearly hit Hattiesburg, and then there were a few in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida today.
Yeah.
But it looks like after that, after the day 4, as that last trough moves through there, it looks like the severe weather is going to start to shift north, and maybe the plains might get some stuff too.
Yeah.
The plains have gotten very lucky this year in terms of severe weather.
Seems like Oklahoma has not gotten that much tornadoes. They've only gotten, was it more than 10 or less than 10? But they haven't got that many this year.
Less than 10.
Yeah, hasn't been very many, which is actually a surprise for Oklahoma.
Yeah. So, until next time, stay safe.